Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. When Sheila and I were first married, we got a Dyson, one of those handheld ones to clean our small apartment, and this lasted us a long time. Now the intensity of the dirt in our living space is increased. And the tender of that dirt is Vivek. So Sheila bought a new handheld Dyson for me. And I was looking at the manual and the brochure and stuff like that. And Dyson's slogan is, our mission is simple, solve the problems others ignore. Our mission is simple, solve the problems others ignore. Now, what this company is offering is an objective narrative. This relates to an objective science, like putting hair removal veins in this vacuum so that one doesn't have that problem. But is that really our problem? Hair on the floor, dirt in the corner. Our problem is not hair or dirt. Our problem is we don't know who we are. Then obviously, we don't know what to do. I zoomed into this yesterday by sharing younger people lack identity, middle-aged people lack purpose. If I don't know who I am and I don't know what to do, then older people lack engagement. I resort to being an extrovert. Our problems are subjective: stress, anxiety, dejection. And so we need a subjective offering, a subjective science to reconcile these problems. And this is what we are doing in Meaningful Mornings. We ignore our own problems through pleasure, possession, position. In Meaningful Mornings, we are not ignoring our problems, we are fighting our problems. Through Bhagavad Gita, Prince Arjuna is in a fight, we are in a fight. And what is unique about a subjective science? When you study and know an objective science, it doesn't change. I know from grade 11 geography that our world has tectonic plates and they're moving. The tectonic plate India's on is crashing into the tectonic plate Asia's on, and that's why Mount Everest keeps getting higher. I knew that in grade 11. I know that now. With the subjective science, it keeps changing. But not the science part. You keep changing. The more you change, the more you evolve, that subjective science changes and evolves too. For many of you, this is not the first time that you've studied Bhagavad Gita. But I feel that this is moving you because you moved yourself. That's why our Shastra or scripture is Shashwata, ancient yet applicable. I'm always bothered when those who serve their communities through Vedanta, this subjective science, like our Balavihar teachers, our administrators, when they are not part of a regular study group. This bothers me because they don't understand that this is a subjective science. They're treating it like an objective science. I know Ramayana, I know Bhagavad Gita, and so I don't need to be part of this study group. And if you don't have this feeling for Vedanta, how can you facilitate it? Bhagavad Gita is a manual on societal development. And so Prince Arjuna is a sevaka. He is one who is singing, seeking, supporting, serving society, eventually surrendering to society. Yet, his problem is that he's selfish. And evidence of this, in the 26th verse, he shares, Sarve sahaiva vanipala sangaihi. He describes those that are gathered as kings. But you see in the next line, he describes or uses another descriptive phrase, Suta Putra. So he's describing some on the Kaurava side as kings, yet he's describing Karna as the son of a charioteer. And here I'm highlighting that he's selfish because this is how he grew up, with this societal hierarchy, and it's taking him so much effort to purge this. Yes, everyone caught that point. Yet, Shri Krishna is the icon of love. He knows that Prince Arjuna is selfish. He knows that it's hard to stop being selfish. And so in chapter 11, it's like he changes his teachings from audio to visual. Chapter 11 is an audio-visual chapter. And in this, the visual is, you are not the doer, I am the doer. And what gets purged then? If Prince Arjuna is not the doer, then he'll stop feeling selfish. Selfishness is almost like a expression of that root, which is the ego. Shri Krishna is showing him, you are not the doer. Prince Arjuna's evolution has come through the trust triangle. For him, his trust triangle is so straightforward, like he is. Guru, Gita, and God are all Shri Krishna. This is his 3G network. He doesn't need a 5G network. He has the 3G network in a most simple way. We also have access to the same. Tomorrow, I will be leaving for Bharat. This will be the longest period that I've been away from my kids since they were born. Vyasa is about to turn 6, Shuka is about to turn 4. And it's incredible how in tune with the multiverse children are. I've been sharing with Vyasa and Shuka that I'm traveling. I'll be back in a short period. Every morning, Vyasa's been waking up earlier. You've seen him. Sometimes he wakes up at 7:30, but he's been getting up at 6, 5:45, 5:30, because he knows that I'm leaving. And he won't say that, but I'm the observer of this as his father. And with Shuka, what he's been expressing, because I've been describing, I'm going to see and be with Guruji. And he goes, is Guruji dead? And I said, no, that's Guru Dev, whose body has died. So he said, so Guruji still moves. I said, yeah, yes, Guruji still moves. And then he says, I love Guruji. He's the best. And he's never met him, but my point is how in tune they are to the multiverse, that this is my trust triangle, and that they're being influenced by the same. And so are you. We continue verses 28 and 29. Yatha nadinam bahavombuvegaha samudramevabhimukha dravanti tata tavami naraloka viraha vishanti vakranyabhivichvalanti. Reading Pujaswami Chinmayananda's translation. Verily, as many torrents of rivers flow towards the ocean, so these heroes in the world of humans enter your flaming mouths. From verse 15 all the way to verse 31, Prince Arjuna is using words to describe his thoughts, to describe his development. He is more convinced if you depend, then love. These are all expressions of his love for Sri Krishna. Here's some reflections for us. In these verses, what we are experiencing in an audio-visual way, right now, to us, space, time, and matter are all separate. There's Eastern Hemisphere space and Western Hemisphere space. But what we're getting to experience is space, time, and matter uniting. All of this diversity is uniting in the visual that is Sri Krishna. Another reflection. Prince Arjuna shares that space, time, matter, all of this diversity is like a river that unites with an ocean. Whenever this example is given, and it's given in many places in Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, it is a positive example. A river expands by becoming an ocean, correct? You will see a very different comparison in the next verse. And so, Prince Arjuna is seeing this and describing this. Why Sri Krishna is showing this is this will be the future of those who are noble like Acharya Bhishma. Prince Arjuna feels he's the one who's going to fight and kill Acharya Bhishma. Sri Krishna is showing him, Acharya Bhishma's with me. You are not the doer. No need to be selfish. Hold that in the next verse. What is the future for those who are ignoble? Like Duryodhana. Verse 29. Yatha pradiptam jwalanam patangaha vishanti nashaya samriddha vegaha tathaiva nashaya vishanti lokaha tavapi vaktrani samriddha vegaha. Pujaswami Chinmayananda's translation. As moths rush hurriedly into a blazing fire to their own destruction, so also these creatures hastily rush into your mouths for their own destruction. In the previous verse, he uses the word humans. In this verse, he uses creatures. In the previous verse, the river expanding into the ocean. In this verse, a moth that is burned and shrinks into a fire. Some reflections. Yesterday, one of you had casually asked in the chat, if Shri Krishna loves Prince Arjuna so much, why is he showing him this terrible form? Dvaita, or duality, that is the nature of this multiverse in which there is the beautiful and there is the terrible. By showing Prince Arjuna this, he's actually showing him the nature of the multiverse. He's showing him reality. So for us, the simple notion of the terrible has its place in duality. That's its nature. And when you know that, you adapt to that then. You don't escape, you adapt. And as I was sharing, Acharya Bhishma is going to expand into Sri Krishna. You chant his expansion every morning. That is Vishnu Sahasranama. Whereas those who are ignoble like Duryodhana, they are going to burn and shrink into Sri Krishna. Those who are seeing Sri Krishna and are seeing the terrible, it is because that is the nature of your mind. If it's filled with fear, you project that. If those who are seeing Sri Krishna are seeing the beautiful, that's the nature of your mind. Your mind is quiet and you're projecting that. From inspiration to application. Yesterday's application was you analyzing your significant struggle by percentages. Whatever your struggle may be, the solution to this is to invest heavily in swadhyaya. Swadhyaya means to be self-reflective. Think about what you're doing. Think about who you are. To encourage this, I'm reminding all of you, write. Whenever you are in a course, in a workshop, in a satsanga, in meaningful mornings, write. Write your questions. Write your reflections. There was a seeker in our community who sometimes during meaningful mornings is engaged in asana, pranayama, and I wrote to her saying that's not allowed in meaningful mornings. If you're not tending to an active responsibility, like feeding your kid or driving to work, we're going to remove you from Zoom because you're not experiencing what you can experience. And she was very receptive to this. She knew where I was coming from and that this is for her betterment. So I'm sharing with all of you to invest heavily in self-reflection. Here is your application for this morning, leading to tomorrow. Tomorrow we complete Prince Arjuna's expression of love. I want you to listen to the song Northern Lights by the band City and Color. Northern Lights, City and Color. Listen to that reflectively. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be joy.